Hola amigos, hola amigas, Dorian here from Hooverlux. Bienvenido, bienvenue. Assalamu alaikum, croeso. Now, I was down to my last 4 Kirbys, 2 Centurias, 3 Centurias and a G4 after I did my G3. And then I came across this one. Yay, another one, another Kirby. Now, this one I'd bought about a month ago, but I had difficulty in time to be able to go and collect it from Bury in Lancashire. But I did. I went up on Sunday and I picked it up. Now, I did a quick demo with this in the last video regarding dog hair, and it did a really good job. Now, I have to say that this is truly the most used Kirby that I've collected. And I don't mean used as in sort of like bought and then used for a bit and then stored away for donkey's years. This actually has been a daily runner for a couple since they bought it back in 2003. Let's have a look here. 69307 81751. So 1993, is that right? Anyway, the invoice is here. Now some people pointed out that it's a bit odd, and it is a bit odd because it's got this handle on it. And I have I've cut out the address, but I have all the Kirby documentation that goes with it. All the service reports that they've had over the years, going back from 2003 all the way up to 2011, July 2011. These are all the service reports that they've had done. Now, this is the first time that this came with the shampoo and the flow buffer and all the attachments, apart from the handy butler and the sander. But it came with all the attachments. They hadn't used it much for the carpet shampooing, just a couple of times. It was mainly used for their main vacuum. And over the years, I can see that it's had bits replaced on it from this documentation, cleaned and adjuster. So it's had replacement of carbon brushes and the nozzle bumper, back plate screw replaced, carbon brushes again 80% okay. So going through all of this, it shows all the parts they've had, and they had a replacement handle on it. They didn't stick to the G3, they had a different one put on, a newer model. So the parts that they've had put on there have been from newer models of the G series. Why they did, I don't know. Maybe it was just easier just to replace it with the parts that are current, I don't know. So this is the first time I've actually had one which has been fully serviced since it was bought. There's a stack of belts, there's some Micro Magic paper bags which I don't use because I use the fleece ones now. And it still works really fine. It's a bit dirty. It does need a polish, but not a severe polish. It's just well worn. For example, the bag on the handle, I can show you now on the bag. This is broken off, and it's been fixed on with some sort of like really hard silicone, so it's worked fine on it, but that bit's broken on it. The handle is really yellowed and really worn, you can't see. The bag desperately needs a wash. It's not filthy, but it does need a wash. The headlight is cracked. The headlight casing on the inside, that has got its tabs broken off, so it just flops around in there. It's not fixed in place. So this one is it's not in the best of states, and on this side the trim is broken. On here, the trim is broken on it. The tech drive, when it's in neutral, it still makes that sound. It sounds like the bearings for the tech drive are wearing, because when it's in drive, I can still move the vacuum, and when it's in neutral, it's clicking. So I'm going to have to take this apart. So this is one which is in the worst condition, to be honest. This is the worst one. So I'm going to do it up, but I'm not going to be really one for keeping it up. I might sell it to somebody who wants it, but I don't know. It does need a lot of work doing to it. So mechanical wise, which is something I'm not really 100% sure on. So anyway, so these are all the bits for it. I'll put this to one side. The next thing I have to show you, there's a video online, I can't remember which one it is, that shows a step-by-step guide on dismantling, disassembly and assembly of a Centria, and I've used that in the first G3 to strip it down to the bare bones. So what I've done is I've gone through his video and I've written down a step-by-step guide on what to do. For example, on the dismantling, the bag and emptor, dismantling cleaners required, cord, handle, brush roll. So it's a step-by-step guide of all the bits I need to do to take it off. And then on the other side, I've done the same, but this is for the reassembly. Step-by-step guide on what to do for reassembling it. I'm very proud of that. This isn't really sort of like, I just did this in my lunch hour over 2 days. Watched the video and then wrote down points and stuff and how he did it. So this is going to be sort of like my little guide to help me when I'm taking them apart, and see how it goes from there. So let's don the gloves for Dr. Dorian, like the freak in Prisoner Cell Block H. Those of you who can remember that. I'm ready for my close-up. Right, okay. So I'll give you a quick demo of it. I'll switch it on for you to see. See if I can just plop that back in temporarily. Undo the cord. Plug it in. I'll switch it on. So yeah, it works. It works fine. It's just it does need a lot of TLC. So what we're going to do is start taking this thing apart. So first of all, let me just lift you up a bit. There we go. And I'm going to take. Oh, first of all, I'm going to unplug it because I don't want to get electrocuted. Right, Gilligan, Zach, and Millie, get in here and sit down, running around like bloody hooligans. The dogs, by the way. Undo the mini emptor. Undo the bag. This looks like a spaceman's boot. This looks like a spaceman's leg. So I'll take off the spaceman's leg. Push the Kirby to one side. Move my instructions to one side a minute. Let's have a look inside here. I'm going to push, which is going to be quite hard. Oh no, it doesn't come. Off. Anyway. Undo the clip. Into the bag. Dispose of that. It's got a hole in it as well. The inside of the bag is not in too bad a state, but I'm still going to launder it because the outside's a bit manky. So what I'm going to do is remove the clip off the boot. Take my screwdriver in. Actually, I should do it from this side. There we go. Remove the clip. hem of the bag. This needs to be rolled back. This is a bit of a feckle. Okay, now I'm going to remove without piercing it. There we go. Remove the bag from the boot. There we go. Once you get a corner of it, it goes through fine. Pull out the fill tube. I'm going to shake the bag out. Put that to one side. Looks like there's bloody brick dust in it anyway. Check for any holes or damage. This doesn't have a strap around it. It's got like a twist on. Oh, right, okay, I don't think I've ever seen that. The twist on. I think it still should have a band around it. Anyway. Empty that bits out. It doesn't, oh yeah, it does have a band at the top, but it's quite loose. It's very loose actually. Well, I'll deal with that later anyway. I'll clean that. Right, let me clean the rubbish off my bench. Okay, and here we go. Let's start stripping this because the mechanism on the top for the tech drive, that is a bit clunky and a bit clicky, and I think the what do you call it? The handle, like there's like bearings, but they're not ball bearings. They're like in little strips. I bet they're dry as, and they desperately need cleaning out. So I'm going to undo the cord, release the handle. I'm going to undo. This is a bit of a Heinz 57 because that's grey. That's clean. Keep that in there. I'm going to undo the top cord hook. And I'll show you the handle. That's the cord handle. Now this handle is pretty battered, it's pretty discolored, so I'm going to see if I can bleach it or scrub it with a scrubbing brush with some bleach, just to make that white again, because it's gone pretty yellow. So I'll do that. This then just needs a bit of a polish, so I'll put that through the machine. It's not too bad, it's not as bad as the others. It's a bit stained, so I'll use my sponge stain remover on that. Clean that up. Right, so I got my disassembly points here. So I'm going to put this here. Actually, let me get some. little bit of tape and my dismantling instructions. I'll put them behind me where you can't see. Okay, bag and empto, first on the list. Dismantle and clean as required. Done. Cord. Right, let's remove the cord. Now, the screw here and the cord, this is perished a bit. So they've put like, do you know, my memory's gone. Those little plastic tag things on it to hold it onto to this. This has got the holder at the side, which is quite rare because it's the first one that's had it. No, it's not. Oh yeah, it is unscrewing. Okay, let me unscrew that. Pop that off. There we go. Undo the cord. There's a screw on top of this, which is as blunt as buggery. Oh no, it's not. It's because it's one of those star screws. Hex, I think they're called, aren't they? Hex screw. There's a hex screw on this. Take the hex screw out. I'm going to cut off the... I'll put a new one on. Okay, take that piece off. Right, so that's the cord off. It's a bit manky. It's not the, oh no, it is the ribbed one. It's just well worn, but not worn through. Okay, there we go, that's the cord. Next on my list, brush roll head. Okay, next, brush roll head. Belt off. Release that. Loosen off the belt. The brush roll's in really good condition actually. Oh, bloody hell. There we go. That's the plate. Pull out the brush roll. There's the brush roll on the belt. The belt I'm going to chuck. Put on a new one. Take off the bumper. And I'm also going to take off the little mechanism thing for the brush roll indicator light, because it's a bit manky. And I've never done it before, but it will make life a lot bloody easier. So if I take this off, because I can polish around it better. So I'm glad I'm filming this, because I will know then how to put the bloody thing back on. Oh, that really helped. Okay, so let's do it like this. There's that. And on the inside, there's that. Okay, I'll put that to one side. So there we go. So I'll be able to polish this properly without having to try and dodge it. Okay, there's another part. I'm going to clean up as I go. Next on my list, dismantle and clean headlight housing. So next we're going to remove the headlight housing. Oh, hang on a sec. Well, that's broken, so I don't need to remove that because it's broken. So there we go, it's already done. Next on the list, cover on main switch and handle, which is this. So there's a screw down here to undo. Stick it in drive so you can move. Oh God, it's a bloody flat one. This really is a bit of a mishmash. Remove that screw with a kind of washer. Okay, let me remove this little screw here. To one side. Okay, there's the cover removed. Next, main body cover. Remove the main body cover. So we've got two screws down here, which are, one's hex and one's Phillips. I mean, really? It's been put together. I'm going to have to get my hex screws now. Bugger! Hang on. Yep. Yep. Oh, come on. Where are you? There's loads of hex screws in here. They're all too big. Right, let me pop you on pause a second while I get the hex screw. Okay, I got one that fits. I wasn't really expecting to see any hex screws until I got to like the G4 and the Centrias. Oh, come on, you little bugger. Oh, really? There. That's the two of the back. And the two of the front. These are the flat ones. Done. Right. Drop the light hood. Let's take the body off. So yeah, these trims are knackered. That one's knackered. They're not as flexible as the other ones. I'm not gonna put these back on. I'm gonna do something else. because it's a bit of a Heinz 57, I don't really care. So anyway, so that's that. This is really dusty on the inside. Okay. Next, front wheel assembly. Turn it upside down. Let's take the front wheels off. Two screws with little clips that hold it on. And then gently slide it off, remembering to be careful with the... Now this is completely full of gunk inside there, it's full of dust. There's the spring and the mechanism and the pedal. Pop that in there. Now I can see here the mechanism for the pedal and the tech drive. It's really rather dry. It's really dusty and really dry. Right, what's next on my list? Right, the headlight. Let's do the headlight. Take off the two screws off the top. Now there's 3 screws here. They're a bit bald. They're a bit worn, so they're quite hard to get off. Oh Jesus! Let me go get the other screwdrivers. Okay, so I got the front off. Didn't record that for some reason, never mind. So I got the front off, it stopped. And what I'm going to do now is to remove the fan. So I'm going to get a 9-inch screw socket, and then I'll take this off. Okay, I'm going to pop the switch off. Switch. And I'm going to drop the tech drive by removing the 3 screws. This one for some reason has 2 hex screws and a Phillips. Make sure it's in drive. As I drop the tech drive, I will release the belt at the same time. up this on-off switch because it can get in the way. There we go. Okay, that's the tech drive out. There's the tech drive belt. Yeah, I can feel it. It's still clicking. It doesn't really help that this is really manky. It's clicking on the inside, which it shouldn't do. Okay, I'll sort that out and check that out. Okay, so now I've moved the tech drive, I'm going to remove the rest of it. I'm having difficulties with getting the bloody fan off. I need to get a 9-inch spanner. I got every spanner apart from a 9-inch to hold onto the shaft so I can take the fan off, so I can't do that yet. So there's 2 screws holding the body on here. These 2 screws down here have the washers. There's 2 screws underneath. Before I remove the motor, on the side of it is the exhaust fan vent for the motor. So I'm going to remove that screw. And as I free the motor, I can remove the vent. I should now be able to remove the motor. There we go. That is the on and off switch, which I shall just leave in. Just leave that in there. Okay, so there we go. I've released the body. It's a bit ganky on the inside. They've used it for shampooing, and I've noticed with a couple of them, the insides do get ganked up with the foam and stuff. And it seems to cause issues with the tech drive. I mean, it's like a sticky kind of residue on it as well. I personally do not like the carpet shampooing mechanism on this. There's too much of the soap and the crap that I can get inside it. I'm not really a fan of the shampoo for these Kirbys. Right, so anyway, so I've taken it apart. What I'm going to do now, fan doesn't need replacing. It does need to clean up. I will get the fan off. I'll get my hands on a 9mm one, and I'll get that sorted. So I'm going to leave it like this for now, and I'll come back to you when it's all cleaned up. Okay, it's the next day, and I've cleaned all the parts in the bucket there and up on the top. So what I'm going to be doing today is the polishing, but I'm not going to use the polishing wheel that I have. I'm going to show you a different way of polishing the Kirby as well. I just need to get a scissors. see it here. So what I'm going to be doing, I don't know what it is about this Kirby, but I'm just not feeling the love for it at all. It's got lots of things wrong with it. It's got lots of parts that need replacing, and I just ain't feeling the love for it, to be honest. But I will. It's going to need a new tech drive. It's also going to need a new body trim. It's going to need a new switch cover. It's going to need a new light fixtures. It's going to need some bits and bobs. I will restore it, but at this moment I just ain't feeling the love for it. So I'm gonna restore it and look after it, and I'll get the parts for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this wire wool. It's like the finest wire wool. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. So I'm just chopping up my wool. Up to 6 parts. And what I'm going to be using is that wool, the steel wool, with the mother's mag and aluminium polish. Alright, so basically what you do is take your wire wool, put some of the mag polish on the wire wool, and what I do first is I just spread it over the parts that I'm going to be polishing. Just put a thin coat over and then wire clean it. Now I only do it in one direction. So I'm just working on it one part at a time. I'll work on the side. Just back and forth in the same direction. Alright, let me get my clean cloth. See the difference it makes. It's pretty good. Even though it's the finest of the finest steel wool, it still leaves it does leave very fine scratches. I don't know if you can see it, so it makes it look brushed a little bit. So that's why I only do it in one direction. So I'm going to continue with this piece for you to see. Just adding a little bit more on, and I just work my way around this headlight cover. I'm going to turn it over and use the other side. Put a little bit more on. Doesn't take too long to do. And I'll wipe it off. So I use one cloth to wipe off the crud. Another clean cloth to wipe off any excess. And there we go. It's polished up nicely. It's not as nice as I would get it on the machine because I'm a perfectionist. It's still showing some pitting marks, but it's enough for now because I'm going to have to take it apart again when I get the replacement parts for it, so I'll probably machine it then. But I just want to get it nice and shiny and clean until that happens, so there we go. That's the first part done. Still got a lot to go. So I'm not going to bore you with it, but that shows what you can get by using the finest steel wool and some of the mother's mag and aluminium polish on it. Oops. So I'm going to stop the video there and I'm going to finish polishing the rest. Okay, so there's all of it polished up. Using the wire, the very fine wire wool and the mother's mag and aluminium polish. It's brought it up really well. I personally prefer doing this part and this part on the machine. The front part, it's quite good to do it with this first and then on the machine for a polishing, just to get any tarnishing off. And in the front, more often than not, I've just only ever used this method because getting this in the grooves of the machine is an absolute nightmare, whereas with the wire wool I can get in all the nooks and crannies and get it looking really good. So that's all of that done. The next thing I'm going to do now is to start putting it together. Right, I've cleaned and polished all the parts, so let's put this thing back together. Now I have my list here of how to put it back together, so I'm going to stick this up. Actually, I'm just going to put it there. There we go. Right, okay, first on the list is place the silicone on the faceplate. Right, okay. Where's the faceplate? Let me get the faceplate. There's the faceplate. I'm just going to get the silicone. Right. Let me get the silicone into the gun. Take a blob of the silicone and I'm going to place some of it around, just a little smear around the edge. I found that less is more. When it comes to putting the silicone on the faceplate. Done that. Now I'm going to leave that to one side. Need to put the cover back on the silicone so it doesn't dry out. Okay, leave that to one side. Wipe off the silicone onto a wet wipe. Right, okay, so done that. Next, snap on the circle of plastic, that's already on there, I didn't take it off. Insert and line up the main motor. Okay, right, so I got the body here. Now I need to line up the body of the motor. There we go, I've done that. 4 screws to attach, 2 washer screws and the 2 underneath. Those are the 2 washer screws. Those are the 2 underneath screws. Right, let's put the washer screws on. I'm not going to do them up completely tight just yet. I just want to make sure that this is completely lined up. So I'm going to put the 2 screws in underneath. Tighten up the 2 screws at the back. There we go, that's the motor in. Next, connect the fan blade. So I put the stopper on. I'm going to put the little plastic. Now, on my way home from Halfords today, I had to go and buy a 9-inch screwdriver, spanner, to hold the armitage in place. There we go. Then the metal washer. And then this, threading it up the wrong way. Just do it, there we go, tighten up, you don't want it too tight. So there we go, that's the fan back on. Put in the tech drive. Right, let me move this out the way. Let me go get the tech drive. First I need to put the wheels back on this. And then with the wheels there are there's one little clip. And then just use this to clip it in. There we are. I'm going to put the other wheel on. And the other little clip. There we go. Now I'm going to pop on the covers. One. Two. Now this needs to be replaced. I need to have a new, I can either get a new mechanism or I can just get the whole thing. So what happens is that there's a cog in there, and when it's in drive, if I push the drive button down, but if I release it a little bit, it's just clipping on it, and then when I switch it, it engages. So the issue is there. I mean, it'll work fine. It's not going to cause a major issue, but it does need to get fixed or replaced, so I will do that. So the tech drive has to be fitted with it in the drive position. I'm just going to get the tech drive belt, which is here somewhere. I am normally more organised than this. Oh, here she is. Now this came off as well, the on and off switch, so I must make sure that that is on. Yes. I should have done this before I put the motor on. There we go. There we go. So what you need to do is to slide, let me get that belt ready, the tech drive in, and then making sure that the belt is on at the same time. There we go. There we go. So there's 3 screws for the tech drive. A long one and 2 short ones. Which are the star ones? There we go. That's the tech drive in. Okay. Connect the on and off foot switch. Okay, that's on. The motor exhaust vent, which is this and this, and the screw. There we go. And tighten up the screw that holds that on. There we go, that's the exhaust vent. Right, I'm going to put this on next. I've stripped this out. Let me lift you up. Which is the handle mechanism. I've stripped that out. Took out all this and cleaned it all and oiled it. It was dry as buggery, no wonder it was all stiff. Let me just get me bearings. Oh, this is a bloody fact, and that bloody switch came off again. That's fitted in the fork. There we go, that's done. So that is... Where did I put those? Oops, I did it wrong. There's two short screws here. There's 2 screws here. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. No. Okay, let me put one on hold a sec. Okay, I know what I'm doing wrong. It's because I haven't put the faceplate on. Right. I'm going to marry the faceplate up. Use this underneath. I'm not going to do them up completely tight. Now I need to put the other screws in. Okay, there we go. Now I'm just going to clean off the excess silicone. Okay, that's all the silicone cleaned off. Attach the handle mechanism, done. Tighten up all the screws on the faceplate, done. Check and adjust the screws on the bearings and the handle mechanism. I did that already. Place the front wheels back on. Let's turn it upside down. Got the foot pedal, spring, the 2 brackets and the 2 screws. I'm just going to place tiny little bit of grease on this spring. And I'm going to place a little bit of grease in this mechanism. Just a little dab. Dab, dab, dab. And then we place the spring and the mechanism in there, whilst fitting in the there, and then there we go, just fettling the wheels on. The screws on this seem pretty worn. My screwdriver's having an issue with that screw. Let me use this one instead. Right, that's the screw on. Test it. There we go. That's that on. Place the plastic safety switch cover back on the front, which is down here. Silicone. Oosh, the headlight. Right. I'm going to put you on pause for the headlight. Okay, I've done the headlight bezel and the headlight hood and everything. I've done a rather good, strong, but temporary fix to it, and it's going to stay in place now. So that's not so bad. As long as I'm like gentle with it, don't have to be super gentle, but it's not gonna fall out easily. So that's that done. So next on my list is to make sure everything works fine. It spins freely. The handle mechanism on the back now moves a heck of a lot freely. The on and off switch. Yep, that all works fine. Okay, so next on my list, right, attach the trims to the side of the metal body. So the trims on the metal body were completely knackered. So if I just place this on, yeah, there's no edge to it. It just looks a little odd. So I have something for that. If I can find it. Right. I've got some trim that I've used before on some of the Electroluxes. Let me get some of that. Okay, so I put some temporary trim on it until I can order the proper trim. It doesn't look too bad, to be honest. just a bit of metal trim. Well, it's like a plasticky thing. It'll do for now until I get the proper parts. Right, so that's the main body all back together. Right, okay. Next thing I have to do is fit the mains cord. Before I fit the mains cord, I need to put the boot back together, and the handle and the head. So the first thing I'm going to do is the handle. It's all nice and polished. The actual main holding handle, I've had it out today retro brighting because it's been so nice, and it's cleared up 95% of it. But I was in work, and so it needed to be constantly turned around. So it's okay, it's a heck of a lot better than what it was, but I will do some more retro brighting, and then I'm going to do some polishing as well, because I have a compound, a plastic compound, so I'm going to try and do that on it as well, the plastic compound. In the meantime, I'm going to put the handle back together. There you go, that's the handle done. Perfect. Next I'm going to do the boot. Oh, I haven't put this on. What am I on about? I haven't put this colour on yet. Oh, getting ahead of myself, getting a bloody ahead of myself. That one was a flat head. Let me get my flat head screwdriver. Handle. Right, the boot. Let's get the boot on. It's over here dry and clean and tidy. So the first thing I have to do is attach the hose to this, to the boot. Make sure it's lined up right. Yep. Let me get one of my clips. It does have a clip at the top, but it's loose. clip on there. That's better. There's no dust escaping there. Oh, knob it, I turned it wrong way. There's definitely no dust escaping that. Right. Let's get it through the spaceman's leg. Okay, I'm going to take my gloves off and I'm going to pose for this. Okay, so that was a bit of a feckle, but I managed to do it. It's all on. I'm just going to pop the bag on. There we go. So I've had to do a temporary repair on the top of that because that part is broken as well. So that's another part that's going to have to be replaced. So now I'm going to put the spaceman's boot to one side because I have to put the cable on yet. And now I'm going to work on the brush roll, the main brush roll. I got all the parts here for it. One last thing to pop on is the little screw there. Right, let me get the brush head all sorted. Okay, finally we're done. Put it all back together. This took a little bit of a while to do. Needed 2 pairs of hands or 3 hands, so the other half helped me screw that in while I held both sides. But well worth it because now it looks really good. It's all working fine. I've tested it. It's a heck of a lot shinier. The tech drive on it, even though it still has that noise on it, the handle mechanism, now that it's all lubricated and working fine, works really well. So I'm going to do a quick demo of it tomorrow because it's a bit late now, it's about 10:30, and I'm going to go hit the hay, so I will give you a demo of this tomorrow.